with the jazz hands today.
Jazz hands.
We got the jazz hands today. Okay. Welcome back to the Old Moon Podcast, episode 21. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
As Tiltus just said, we are on our way to half a year. Right now, literally half a year. Of course, I'm your host, Blue Squadron, joined by my co-host. We will start with Jay today, just to fluster him. Jay.
No, I'm Jay Kuhn, and V before the T. I'm an Awakened Wusamane with
wow, you really messed that up.
I do a lot of endgame PvE content, such as Olin's the Dungeon and soon the newly announced Ulukita. And welcome to the Old Moon Podcast, episode 21.
Right on. And our resident new player perspective, Tiltus.
Yeah, hello, I'm Tiltus TV. I definitely just started the game like 6 months ago. Definitely, totally have not been playing for 6 years or anything like that. Yeah, and right now, Baldur's Gate 3
You've been playing for 6 years, but you have the gear of someone who's
so
played
good.
for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Baldur's Gate 3, you have it? Dude, we should play.
Oh, it's the claws are deep right now.
You need to tell me.
We have region this week. I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Hey, yo, same.
Let's go.
Except that I'm working so hard on video, I don't have time for Baldur's Gate, dude. I heard it was like like D&D, but like it's like Divinity Original Sin 2, but with like better graphics and cutscenes and stuff.
Yep, and it
Basically
literally
a really funny comment I saw about Baldur's Gate 3 was people were complaining, because I never played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, but apparently like the purists were like, oh, it's not like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 because it's turn-based. And I'm just like thinking in my head, wasn't D&D turn-based anyways? So what's wrong with this version of Baldur's Gate 3?
It's way better. I've tried to play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 many times. It's hard. It's dated. It's very old, and it feels old when you play it. So
when did it come out?
It's immaculate.
Was it
2001 and 2004, I think, something like that.
Anyway, this podcast about Black Desert Online. God, my transitions are seamless. Damn, I'm good. All right, so one of our listeners just asked up front, and I think it's honestly a good topic, so I'm going to pivot just a little bit on you guys here. They say, any advice on not burning out? I'm new and I jumped from season gear score to 610, but getting slightly burned out. And I think it's honestly, I don't know why we didn't think about this topic beforehand. This is like the natural progression of events. We have all these new players that started the game, and now they've gotten really far. They're constantly getting that gear score. Now it's starting to slow down a little bit, and the grind starting to set in. So I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts on burnout? What do you do to prevent burnout? I'll start with Jay.
So I like to tailor what I do in the game based on the current events. So let's say there's a drop rate event. That's when I go hard with grinding. Let's say there's a fishing event. I just take a break from the game and just, set up a fishing alt. Let's say there's a life skill event. I focus on life skills or something like that. Just switching it up helps with managing your burnout. That's my advice for you. Hi.
I don't think you realize you just said,
yes.
If there's a life skilling event, I just slow down and play another game. If there's a fishing event, I'll just slow down and play another game. If there's a grinding event, I will actually play this game more. And then if there's a horse taming event, of course, I'll go play another game. Tiltus, what's your strategy for not burning out on the game?
My strategy is I only play what is currently fun. So if I get really passionate about grinding, then I'll go do my grinds. If I don't feel like grinding, then I'm only here to PvP, and I'll make everything I do based around PvP. And then the one thing that honestly always keeps me like actually playing the game is like I try to be self-sustaining with all of my like node war and PvP buffs and everything. So I life skill for those, and that'll normally take up a couple hours in my week. So it keeps me logged into the game and keeps me playing, but I'm making progression in like a different way, doing life skills, making elixirs, doing that kind of thing. It just helps spread the game out so that I'm not just constantly throwing my forehead against the wall, grinding in circles, because I can't stand grinding in circles, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I've broken down burnout on like 100 different levels, and I think ultimately it just comes down to eventually, if you end up doing the same thing over and over and over again, you end up burning out. It doesn't matter if it's Black Desert, doesn't matter if it's Diablo 4, Final Fantasy, whatever the game is, right? And so the trick to burnout is just to stop doing that and do something different, right? Just like Tiltus was alluding to, you need to branch out, try life skilling, right? Do something, just ease off the gas pedal. And then you'll find the more ways you're able to make money, the less likely you are to just quit the game, right?
Yep.
If you can only grind for your silver, you are gonna burn out. You're just never gonna make it, because like no one can log in and grind for even 1 to 3 hours a day every single day and just never get burned out on the game or never get tired of it, right? You have to mix it up. So like my encouragement there is to just try other stuff inside the game. So like whether life skilling makes you happy or bartering makes you happy or whatever it is, start working on a different project and just ease off the gas pedal a little bit. You just need to accept the fact that you're going to make slightly less money for a little while. It's going to happen. But also accept the fact that this is an investment. So like, for example, if you decide, okay, I want to barter, right? Well, okay, well, you're going to make a lot less money bartering.
Nobody's going to decide that they want to barter. Let's be honest here.
Shut your mouth right now. No. But let's say, for example, you did decide you wanted to barter, right? Well, you're going to make less money for a short amount of time, but it's going to relax you. And honestly, it's going to calm all of that anxiety of, I have to get my next upgrade. I have to make this much money. It just calms all that down. And then as you start bartering, you start snowballing more and more money until you eventually get your Carrack. And then you're probably ready. Honestly, like the funny thing is when I first got my Carrack, I just went straight back to grinding. Like I literally just bartered straight through, got my Carrack, then went straight back to grinding. But then when I got burned out on grinding, I turned back around and now my Carrack's ready to go. And suddenly there was almost no trade-off. I just hit T and sailed around on my boat and made $1 billion silver. You know what I mean? Like it was great. And then the next time I got burned out, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to cook. So I set all that up. You know what I mean? I got my cooking set together. I started getting that cooking set up, and that was nice, letting the utensil kind of build up. And then once I got like Guru whatever cooking, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to grind again. So then I went back to grinding, and then the cycle continued until I have now basically all of these different avenues to make all this gear. But like the important thing is to understand as a new player that one, you don't have to be playing crazy efficiently all the time. Grinding for your money all the time is just stupid. You're just never going to be able to make it. I advise branching out, and yeah, you're going to make slightly less money in the short term, but it gives you options. It doesn't allow you to burn out on the game in this way because you've always got something else to go to.
That's one of the biggest thing for new players too, is do not play the game efficiently until you are at that point. Follow the rabbit holes, go where they take you. Playing the game efficiently is for like the very, very, very top end players that are grinding for something very specific that they want to get, that they're ready for the next 1 AP or 1 DP or whatever. They're 5 accuracy. So it's more fun to just play the game and enjoy it for being a game rather than just mash efficiency from beginning to end, because you're just going to burn out in like 2 months.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to run my face through a bunch of thumbtacks in game, of course, when I was doing the Bartali logs. Like if you're just trying to, like nowadays, and that's funny. It's funny because it was only the Bartali logs back then. Right? Like it now, a new player is like, they're like, okay, I got to get all my logs done. And then, oh my God, they're just, I can't even imagine the rabbit hole. Imagine literally going through all of Bartali's, all of Deeds, all of Harold's, all of Rulepi's, all of the brand new one. I don't even, the Dokebi chest Vietnam reenactment. Like all of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just not.
What do you mean by that?
It's not doable. Don't feel like you have to get all of this stuff done immediately, dude. Just accept it. Okay, I'm going to make slightly less money right now. Let's just take our foot off the gas pedal and explore another aspect of the game. Okay, I don't want to get too hung up on that for too long. Really, I want to talk about the new region, because we talked a lot about PvP last week. So now it is Jay's turn for the spotlight. We've got Ulukita on the Global Labs, and it's been teased at the fest and things like this. Jay, I'm going to let you lead the discussion on this. Tell us what we know about Ulukita so far.
Ulukita, actually, not Ulukuta. There's it's called Ulukita, and it was mentioned on the Festa, and now it's arrived on the Global Labs. Not fully though. There's no gameplay available yet, but we do have a lot of information that's come out on the Global Labs, which is the origins of Dark Hunger, and obviously the new treasure item, Lofty Bed Mountain's upgraded telescope. Nice. And so there's going to be 2 grind zones called City of the Dead, which is a 3 what was it? I think it was 310, 380. DP zone, and Tungred Ruins, which is a 320 AP zone, which is our very first 320 AP zone, and 410 DP zone, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's 2 more grind zones that's going to be announced in the future, but not yet. But I wanted to first ask you guys, what are your initial thoughts on the zone based on the previews? Let's talk about like the aesthetics, landscapes. What do you think about the mobs as well that they were showing off in these screenshots?
I think that in 2 years when Tiltus gets to this content, that he's really going to enjoy it.
Okay.
We just talked about burnout. Be quiet. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're right. That's my mistake. 3 years. Being conservative. That's right. I think 320 AP, and then what was the DP requirement? You said that like on for these spots.
So 310, 380 for City of the Dead, and 320, 410 for Tungred Ruins. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that is super, super end game content. So yeah, that's great.
Very end game.
But I think, but I think the reason they're kind of just jumping this out right away is because they know it's for like less than 1,000 players on each server. Now, over time, this is kind of just a nod to their veteran players that have been playing for a long time. They've released a lot of this new content to help the new players, developing all of the old systems and reworking that stuff. This is kind of a nod to try to their veteran players to kind of try to keep us playing the game. And I'm excited about it mainly because of the telescope. I don't really care about the grind spots all that much. The spots don't excite me mainly because they said it's kind of just running around killing the mobs, right? Like I don't think that there's like a crazy amount of mechanics that are going to go into these.
Yeah,
right?
they did mention that there weren't going to be too much complicated mechanics. And so the biggest thing that they mentioned was you can down attack the mobs was the mechanic.
Oh,
so
yeah,
maybe there might be some mechanics involving knocking them down similar to, I don't know, like stars and crystals. So we'll see.
I was thinking like Aukman.
Aukman? Oh,
yeah. Remember Aukman back in the day?
These are, yeah, I loved Aukman back in the, I was an Awakening Witch. That was like the spot for
True. That's where you guys all cluster. I was still a Dark Knight at that time. Yeah, no, I think I mean it's exciting just because I get to save Laffy Bed Mountain's ass again. I swear to God, he would just lose his ass if it wasn't attached to his body.
True.
Like this dude literally tripped and fell over, broke his compass into 3 pieces, and then decided to go for a walk in Valencia. Like, and then you find that it takes 4 years, and then you find out that
he also broke a telescope in Medea Part 2.
I can't find my telescope. You know, you're just like,
yeah.
Finders keepers, Laffy. I don't care anymore. But like, I'm a treasure hunter. I love going after like super rare, super end game stuff, like the compass, like the map. I'm not even gonna honor the potions with an acknowledgement, but like stuff like that. So like, and the telescope is like really cool because it allows you to teleport yourself to a party member, right? Like you get to teleport instead. So the compass allows you to teleport party members to your location. The telescope will now allow you to teleport to a party member's location, which I think is really cool. They should add more stuff like this in the game to make the world just a little bit smaller. At a certain point, it's just it's almost too big. At a certain point, when do you just? I'll be honest, they kind of did introduce flying a little bit, but like I would love just flying mounts that I could just go across the world with, like the T10 be damned. Oh,
you mean Yar?
Like you shut your mouth. You will not mention his name here. He's stupid. He's talking about my tier 10 Peggy that me and J-Kun have, but he of course
you one-tapped it, right? He boosted.
No,
oh my God.
Is this
what?
a joke? Yeah, so did you, bitch. Yeah, I can do it too.
Wait,
you see how that works? The road runs both ways, Chief. The road runs both ways. You see how that works? Jay, you heard it here. Jay one-tapped both of his T10 horses. In fact, he has all 3 T10 horses. I only have one. 3 taps. All 3 T10 horses. Okay. Do you see how this works? You see how this works? You go, you say some misinformation. You want me to go down this rabbit hole, I can just send it. All right. No, it was 31 taps. I just did 30.
It was a 31? Oh.
I did
31 tapped it. Yeah. Got it.
I did. No, I did. I did 30 attempts on the unicorns, and then like they did all the changes and stuff, and then we got like the 5 attempts, right? And then I went to they were like, oh, you need a Peggy, so I did 1 attempt on the Peggy, bam. Like, all right. So 31 total T10 attempts. And honestly,
and its name is Yar.
You shut your mouth. Yes, communism won a little bit. They took the battle, but I won the war. I have a T10. So that's a win. But like I really do feel like they should add like flying mounts and stuff, more teleportation skills that aren't necessarily the Magnus, that allow us to get around the world a little bit more conveniently, and interact with more players like that. But the telescope's the thing I'm most interested in. Tiltus?
Yeah. Aesthetically, I really like the aesthetics of this place. The undead mobs look really unique, actually. I like the armor and stuff that they have on them. It's very nice. And then I've always liked kind of the Black Spirit-esque mobs that float around Medaya, like in Elric Shrine and stuff like that. So I think it'll be very interesting to kind of see how some of these places kind of tie into the Medaya lore, because ironically, the Medaya lore is like the part I know the best. Besides Land of the Morning Light, as far as some of the old lore and stuff goes. So I like the aesthetic of it. I like the like red mountainous rock area. It's very unique, I think. As far as grinding there, yeah, I'll see you guys in 3 years.
Yeah, I was not
I'll definitely
joking.
get there at some point. Grinding in circles is not my favorite thing to do in the game. So
yeah, what do you're a life skiller, right?
Yeah, I life skill like a good couple hours a week. I PvP like as much as I can, and then I sparkle dash around Velia a lot on my DK. So
you sparkle dash? You just do laps around Velia with your dart?
Oh yeah, when I get distracted in Discord, I'm talking to friends. I'll just sit there and run laps around Velia. It's like bank standing, but you know.
In fairness, usually what you're doing is you're talking in Discord with your friends. You run down to the storage keeper to grab something. You, of course, forget what you were going to grab when you get down there. And then you run back up all the way around to the stable keeper. And then you realize, oh, I remembered that thing. And then you run down to the storage keeper and repeat. Like, I have done this, I don't know how many times. But honestly, it's the best stamina training you're ever going to get. People think you're actually on an auto path.
I just use my mates right in front of the storage keeper to send a message, so...
It's a big gamer move right there, Jake. It's a big gamer move right there. So
yeah, I'm not in terms of the aesthetics, I'm not the biggest fan of the deserty canyon sandy type
You're
of
an
zones.
Olens player. You don't
Anakin Skywalker in the
we
flesh.
know what you like.
Olens Valley, yeah.
There are no rock golems.
More, you know, greenery. You know, taking a bit from Minecraft. I've always loved exploring the jungle temples.
I would just like to remind you that the name of the game is Black Desert, not Olens Valley.
Well, you know, I don't think we've had like a jungle-esque grind zone yet, so maybe a jungle-esque grind zone would be kind of cool too. There is some sort of, you know, greeneries more south of Medea. Maybe that would be part of it. I don't know, maybe. But what about, I don't know, I'm just throwing out ideas. What about a floating castle in the sky, you know? As a grind zone, we could make use of our T10 Pegasuses and get up there, you know? Maybe. Delph?
Yes, that's absolutely right. All two of us.
Yep.
Are going to be able to get up to that. You're right.
Well, there's an airship that we never got to use that was shown in like, I don't know, 2018.
That's because they were literally working on that. What's the, like the Etheria Unbound or whatever, like that air game. I forget what the name of it was. And they were like, I remember the patch when it happened. They were like, we are adding airships to the game. Do not, it's like bold in all caps and like size 18 font. Do not attempt to get on the airship. And then everyone spent the entire week trying to mount the crap out of those things. I don't think anyone's ever touched them, but I'll be Ascent Infinite Realm. Thank you. But you know,
I got really close to one the other day. I was doing truffle mushrooms and Calpheon, and one was going right by, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to get on that.
Hold up. With the T10?
You might be able to do it, yeah.
I think I might be able to mount that motherfucker.
Oh my god.
I'm a typical guy, you know what I mean? I think I can get up on that thing. Like, that ship's looking kind of cute. So honestly, I might try that. But like, Yeah, no, I wish they added more stuff to the game like that. Jay, are you excited for like a high level grind? So you said you're not worried about like the aesthetics and thing like that. Does the telescope interest you at all? As someone that literally
Yes, 100%.
gets a merchant ring every hour,
I love collecting treasures, so definitely right up my alley. What's really interesting, actually, what's more interesting to me is the Origins of Dark Hunger that's going to be droppable there. It's even going to be marketable, essentially making stacks sellable in the market. This is like the first time we've ever had some form of stack being sellable in the market. I did some calculations about how much it would cost to get from 100 to 300, and from 100 to 200 stacks, it's about 30-40 bill if the cost is 300 mil, because we've had events in the past involving Origins Dark Hunger that made it cost 300 mil from a vendor to craft it. And so if the price is still the same, going from 100 to 200 based on the rates they gave us on the global labs, it's about 30-40 bill to get from 100 to 200. And then from 200 to 300, I'll calculate it, it's about 90 bill to get from 200 to 300. So in total, from 100 to 300, it would be about 120, 130 bill silver. Do you guys think that's a fair amount to craft a 300 stack?
Jesus, Jay, I had school all day. And then I went to cross-country practice, came straight home. Keep in mind, this was after doing it yesterday and doing Funny Monday. And Jay is just like, what do you think about the square root of 3.69 times 10 to the 1 millionth power? I'm, Jay, I was actually thinking that sounds pretty good. But, like, I think that the Origins of Dark Hunger, you can't go to 300 with those, right?
No,
you can.
now.
Yes.
Different
Yep.
ones.
That's the feature of this new version. It's like a green version of the Dark Hunger.
Oh, it's a feature.
It's a new feature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is a feature.
You can get it up to 300.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, honestly, I think that's great. Now I never have to quest again. You know what I mean? Like, this is now your option. You're like, oh, what about the 30,000 quest, the 300 stack? I said, I'll just tap it on a 200. I really just don't care that much. I'll take the L. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But, like, I think that gives plenty of players an avenue to actually hit the 300 stack without actually having to quest,
definitely.
which no one in the game wants to do. I'm sorry. 3 people like to do that. I've seen exactly 3 people in game with the 30k quest title. But I know there are more than that, but like realistically speaking, those people just hate themselves. But like I really do think that the Origins of Dark Hunger are actually a good addition to the game, and they makes fail stacking a lot easier, because I'll be honest, that's a big sense of frustration for like so many late game players. Is you just have to sit, for people that don't like enhancing, sitting in the enhancement window all day while you watch Black Star after Black Star after Black Star constantly hit pen, and you're making trillions and trillions of silver, is mentally draining on some people. I mean, Jay, I don't know how you made it through all of those extra pen Black Stars that you almost tripped over on your way to your 300 stacks. Like, but like, seriously though, fail stacking sucks, man. We all hate fail stacking. Except for like I don't know, Biohack's kind of a freak, but like and so is Salt, like they just sit in the enhancement window all day. But most people don't. And most people hate that. And I think that this kind of removes that aspect of the game, and especially for someone like me, oh thank God. Like I don't want to sit there.
It's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, like I want to go play the game, and this gives me an avenue. Like, oh man, I just came into a bunch of silver. I can just buy my fail stack. It's just guaranteed. I don't have to worry about hitting Lord knows how many Tet Black Stars or Pen Black Stars, or spending all this extra money, almost getting there and then not quite. Like, oh my goodness, watching my pen reblast. Ding! Congratulations. It's miserable. What do you think about the Origin of Dark Hunger, Tiltus?
I like it. It's not going to be on the market for a while, though, out of these spots. I think it's going to take a while before if the market ever gets saturated, because there's already not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of high-end PvPers that grind a lot of upper-end spots, and there's Jay. But I don't think there's that many players that are going to be geared enough to be able to do this kind of content.
I think that there were probably, if I had to, you know what? I'm curious what Jay's figure is. I know what my figure is going to be. Jay, how many people on the server do you think are capable of doing this stuff?
I think there's a lot more than you think of people able to. If it's not enough people, there might be enough people to grind it out like heavily enough to saturate the market, because I know there's a lot of hard grinders who love this kind of stuff. Like for example, like Choice, right? He just, bam, 2 weeks, Pendebreka earring. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be those kinds of people who will just hard grind it out. And so I think if there's not gonna be enough people, there's gonna be enough people that hard grinds it, if you know what I mean.
Life it.
Did you guys see Clip's choice? The choice of Clip. Oh God. Choice of choice. I said it right the first time, then I was like, no, you backwards it, and then I went back and reversed it. Have you guys seen Choice's clip of him getting the Pen Devil earring?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Finally! I'm like, what?
Finally, I know.
Like a month and a half into the expansion, shut your mouth. You've got like 10 earrings. How could you possibly have struggled for that? Like, it's a joke. Blonde Bear's like, same. My God. It's ridiculous how long that took, right, buddy? Like, holy moly. But yeah, no, I'm actually curious. Do you guys think it's gonna bring back some open world PvP? I think it's open world PvP has been kind of since AOS came out. And then with the new announcement, we saw actually a bigger resurgence with the announcement of the changes. I feel like everyone's letting the demon out lately. I feel like every time I step out of a safe zone now, I'm just getting teabagged by somebody that has decided that they're going to flag and kill me because they can.
You got real lucky the other day.
I do.
Lucky? I got, that's my mistake. Yeah, I 1-0'd this bozo that tried to gank me while I was doing my dark rips. Literally, absolutely 1-0'd him. And then the best part is this same idiot shows up at my next dark rip. He waits at Farad for, on God, like 30 minutes for his time to shine. I come around the corner. I am auto-pathing. This dude literally missed his charge on his horse, completely whiffs and goes straight by me. And I just almost fell out of my chair. Then he tried to gank me again at Farad and almost got killed again. He had to swap servers. It's crazy.
No, that is not what happened at all.
That is a perfect recollection of what happened.
So,
what happened was included.
What happened? I killed you while you were AFK or something.
Wait, that was you?
I killed him while he was AFK.
No, he had like
something.
3 of his guild members literally jump me while I was trying to spectate his base in Siege.
Oh, that's what it was.
I was trying to look at his base in Siege, and like 3 of them ganked me. I was like, what is this?
Our Siege base.
Yeah.
So I kill him. He leaves. I follow him. I follow him around for a while, just kind of goofing off. And then we get to Griffin. He's doing his dark rifts. We both kill the Griffin because I hadn't done mine either. I challenge him to a duel. I kill his horse in the duel and then cancel the duel. He doesn't understand what happens. He maps back to fucking old wisdom tree.
Yeah.
Gets his horse, maps back, runs off. At this point, I'm like, all right, I had my fun. I'll stop. When you TP'd back, I was literally, or when you realized I killed your horse, I was laughing so hard that I was just literally standing there idle on my horse. I couldn't even bring myself to put my hands on the keyboard.
And that's when we struck right there. I flagged up and just 1-0'd that bozo. 1-0 bozo, killed his horse and him. Ting.
I'm sitting in Heidel storage and I'm watching Blue's stream on the side monitor. And Blue's like, he's like doing like Ruined Tower or something, or Dimdry or something. He's like, you know who we haven't seen in a while? Tiltus. And I was like, okay, dude. Like, all right. So I went and waited for him and feared. And then I was about to kill him. Literally, last skill was coming down, and his guildie comes from off screen and grabs me. And then Blue server changes while I'm in the grab animation.
Sounds like a 1-0 to me, bitch. Sounds like a 1-0.
Had a lot of fun.
Sounds like a skill issue.
We did. It was really funny. I was cackling the entire time.
Yep. 1-0, bozo.
It's 1-1. I killed you too.
No. You literally
Somebody
killed me
in this chat pulled the meme up.
No, I was literally spectating your siege base in Siege, and 3 of your guild members came out of the came out of the wall like cockroaches and ganked me with like 0 DP. And honestly, it wasn't fair because I got sniped out of the sky by this ICBM fucking cannon defense turret. I land on the ground and get blown away by one of Tiltus' guild members.
We had a good time Saturday night. It was
we
funny.
did have a good time. It was great.
There it is.
Is there anything?
Thank you, Swaggy Panda.
Is there anything else, Band? Is there anything else from Ulukita that we missed here? The origin of Dark Hunger, the telescope, a few new grind spots. Is anything else? Are we getting a castle with this region?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn they said they were going to give us a castle with it.
I'm not too sure. I didn't hear anything about a castle. I do know that there's a castle in Medea, like south of what's it called, Splashing Point. But I don't know if that's part of the region. It could be in the other two revealed grind zones. We might.
That's what I was gonna say. I seem to remember them in the Festa talking about that castle was gonna be one of the new grind spots.
Okay. What do you guys think it's gonna be dropping there? Probably the next shoes, tour shoes.
Probably my pants. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because those mobs are going to be way too strong, man. I'm just going to get Baja blasted forever.
You know what I really like? Okay, so I'm sure you guys grinded Medea back in the day. And what was the most iconic thing you grinded in Medea back in the day? It was the Azula accessory. So hear me out. What if they make boss grade Azula accessories? Let's bring back Azula, boy. Let's bring back. We love nostalgia around these spar.
You have
that'd be super cool.
The hottest take. The hottest.
You don't like Azula? Take. You didn't like it, dude. Azula was so good.
Azula, no, you know why I didn't like Azula? Because every time I had to put Azula on, that meant that I failed another accessory that I was actually trying to get.
That's true. That is true. My one durability wheel of armor and weapons. With my Azula accessories, absolute units. But yeah, I mean, I love the Azulas, but I wouldn't say that that's the thing that I'm like, oh god, that's what I want to bring back out of that part of the game. I don't care. I wish that they had brought, like, I wish Sawsons was more relevant now, but like, honestly, okay, so we got off track. Do you think that this is going to bring back open world PvP, or do you think it's just too high level? Do you think that, like, you're just the white bitch on the couch while you're grinding, so no one wants to fight each other, or like?
I do feel like if the crystals are still going to be breaking, probably not. It would de-incentivize it. But if we keep the crystal safety, then maybe there's a good chance, so that there's no, because risking a 5 bill crystal is monka-s, and so.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just not worth doing, right? Like, the crystal drop thing is gonna go away, and then you're just gonna be like, oh, I understand the mechanic. Okay, we're respawning at note. Like,
goodbye, Garen's tier.
Oh, all right. Yep. That's my bad. Didn't realize it was nighttime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's one of those grind spots. It's like, wait, I mean, like I can't grind there at night. Well, and what do you mean? It's not like Shuriken. It's not like the mobs go away. No, that's not the problem. You misunderstand.
Do you like the nighttime mechanic where you just take 30% more damage, or do you think that should go away?
I think they should just probably remove that.
It's what, a 40-minute timer?
It does make me feel
dead.
It does make me feel no because before, back in 2020, I had to schedule around whether it should be nighttime or daytime for Olans, and it does feel like the same way here for Dekia's Olans, where I have to schedule around nighttime and daytime, which some people like, but I feel like I should have control over whether I want to or not, and if that's preventing me from grinding, that's preventing me from playing the game, and so I am more leaning towards removing the nighttime mechanic of taking more damage. Or at the very least, make it worth it to grind at nighttime. Because right now I believe it's 10% drop rate is not worth it to just instantly get one-shot by certain things, because you just take so much more damage. I don't know.
I think that the notification for nighttime needs to be bigger. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Would be nice.
Like this little thing, like there's a million things, other things going on. It's this little thing, you just casually miss it, and then Quint just starts teabagging you. It's like the most miserable moment of my grind, and I just never realized that it's actually happening. So like, they either need to make the notification bigger, and honestly, they keep making it like they want high risk, high reward grinding, and this might be a hot take. But I kind of came up with this the other day, and I was like, why don't, instead of like making the mobs like physically like just beat the crap out of you, like impossible to kill, and like constantly risking your crystals, why not just try to make it like overcrowded with people? And then the high risk, high reward means that like there's no karma loss there or something in that particular region or something, and then it's just a clown fiesta of people just fighting each other all the time, because like it's high risk because there's no karma loss. If somebody walks up on you, you're all big dick gear score, right? Everybody here is like really big gear score, so it's not like they're necessarily going to be gear checking you. Just remove karma loss from that and just let people fight each other all the time. Then it's high risk, high reward, and you can bring the mob level down just a touch. And we don't have to worry as much about losing our crystals. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that direction?
Another idea that I had was instead of taking 30% more damage, I remember you mentioning high risk, high reward. So why not just at nighttime you just you get extra drop rate, but there's no additional damage taken. But let's just say you have a higher chance to break your crystals, and so it's still like the same difficulty. It's just if you die, you do have a higher risk of breaking your crystals. But if you were good at surviving at that spot, then it wouldn't even matter, and you could take advantage of the extra drop rate.
No, I just don't like losing crystals, man. It just never feels good. I don't know. It just never feels good, dude. Like, cause like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
100%.
even if you're really good, I mean, Jay, I'm sure you've been there. Like you're really good, but like you're looking at chat or something and then you just get turboed, like you're just not paying attention. You're watching Pam go off on The Office, and you just get run. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't matter how good you are on your class. In 1,000 hours, you're going to make mistakes. Doesn't matter. Like you're human. And I think that losing crystals just feels bad, but I think that dying in PvP, although that feels bad, does not feel nearly as bad. If I just died in PvP because someone killed me, I'd be like, dang, they got the spot. You know what I mean? And then I would just like move on. And it's like, oh, yeah. It's not like, well, there goes 7 bill. Like, no, it's like miserable. Tiltus, how do you feel about it?
Night Cycle, it's an interesting concept. They have a lot of interesting systems in the game that are just extremely outdated. And I think Night Cycle is probably one of those where it's like, it could be good. They could revamp it and make it way better. Right now, it doesn't feel particularly like worth it for the 10% drop rate, especially with mobs that'll just smack the Jesus out of you. Somebody did bring up an interesting point though and said, how about no karma loss at night? And I like that both from an RP standpoint and from a grind zone standpoint.
The bell goes off suddenly. I've become much more aware that it is in fact nighttime. Look, oh my God, you can see the gremlin coming out from behind the rock over. Look, there he is. I saw it. I almost didn't see Dabin.
That would be really interesting. And yeah, I think crystal loss is also a thing of the past, especially with our crystal prices that we have now. I lost the Rebellious before Land of the Morning Light came out, and that was annoying, to say the very least, because that's like a 1.4 bill crystal, and I was like, okay, really, dude? So I think crystal loss just needs to go away, to be honest.
Oh yeah, we should have a conversation about crystal loss. How did we not think about this? I mean, this was planned. I actually think that nighttime idea is, so you either go with my idea where like specific zones just remove karma loss, because everyone is high enough gear score to deal with it anyway. It's not a bullying issue. It's just a fucking get good issue. Like, and if you're not good enough, you don't get to grind there. It's just kind of how it goes. Or you just have to grind there at off hours. I think that that's kind of a cool mechanic. And then like this deck thing, like, okay, then you don't have to be decked on these people. You can just walk up, flag, kill people, no penalty. They've got the gear score. They can just swap, go to another spot, whatever. Or I kind of, Tiltus's idea is exciting.
That wasn't my idea. Here, let me give credit to where credit's due. I was Magi Spellbreaker, and your chat suggested it.
We Dono walled him intentionally, and this is your fault now.
Damn.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
Sorry,
I love you, Magi. I love you, buddy.
Magi spell something, right?
But like, if you just remove karma loss from nighttime, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, that sounds cool on paper, but then all of the Tuvala just log out. You know what I mean? They just log out.
Yeah, there would be a lot of other things that would be very annoying at nighttime. Can you imagine getting ganked at nighttime Olins?
I don't have to imagine.
And the player would just never have to worry about going red. Just
it would be like every streamer would just have to unanimously be like, all right, guys, we're gonna go to the BRB screen. We'll be back in like 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah, like because you're just gonna get run, man. You just it would be open season. It's like when they're like, hey guys, Dons are gathering on Balanos 4. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like whenever that it's not Bloody Monastery. It's what is that?
Abandoned Monastery.
Abandoned Monastery. AM. Yeah, like the server gets the announcement that boss is. It's like ding, it's nighttime. All right, everybody go kill each other. It reminds me of that movie where it's like it's nighttime for one night and then like the law just like disappears. You can do whatever you want.
What's it called? The Purge.
It's like literally the Purge
every night.
Chiltis is like huddled in the corner of the safe zone. Like, oh god.
Should we have one of those days?
I'm going out in a
one day
Zula
in
and roaring magical armor, dude. I'm going out there with no laws.
All right, so I actually kind of do want to have a bit of a discussion on Crystal Lost while we have time. What's your guys' take on Crystal Lost? Would you like to just remove it from the game entirely, or would you rather have a different system?
I've been loving that I don't have to worry so much about losing my crystals at Decia's Olens. I mean, I've died my fair bit there, learning the grind spot. And unfortunately, when you are doing those harder grind spots, like Olens dying is part of the learning process, but that's like one less thing that I have to worry about. And it's just maybe want to play the game more, honestly, that I don't have to worry about that. So I am in more favor of removing Crystal Lost completely or having more ways to protect it, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, Jay. Honestly, I was getting turboed by the Olin's Golem, and that just made me want to play the game more. I knew you were bottom. Tilt this from a top perspective. What do you feel like about Crystal Lost changes?
So here was my thought process on it, right? Is because people are always going to argue that like crystals are going to sit if you remove Crystal Lost from the game. But I think there's probably other ways to work around that, to where, like, say for instance, like, okay, so you have your crystal setup, right? And you want to keep those crystals so that if you die to mobs, you don't lose the crystals. So they're just normal versions of the crystals. They do exactly the stats that they have right now. And then say, okay, now I'm really good at Olin's Valley. I don't have to worry about dying. I've learned the mechanics. What if you could do something where you could like infuse your crystals with some kind of extra bonus to them or something? Like it can be literally anything, drop rate or something like that. And at that point, now your crystals are breakable because you've injected them with this extra energy or something like that. It's made them unstable. So it'd just be a way to, if I don't want to infuse my tiers, then I don't have to worry about losing a 6 mil crystal, and I can keep that one safe. But if I want to infuse my L-cars, which are 65 mil right now, it's like, all right, boom, there we go. Now if those break, who cares? Same with like gens and rebellious and stuff like that.
Do you mean like prioritizing which ones break first? Is that what
no. Like so like changing the crystal to where it does, like if you opt to allow it to break if you die, then it has like a higher bonus of its stats. It doesn't have to be like super significant, but it was like something small enough to where it was like it matters for grinding that you would infuse it, and then now it's breakable. So now if I die to an Olin mob, now my crystal's broken. So
let me make sure I have this straight. Currently, you feel that crystals are too expensive, that people don't want to risk their crystals, and so your solution is upgrade them so that they are even more expensive, and then let them break more.
No. So you wouldn't.
No, I know what you're saying. You say you can't break them unless you do the unstable. Well, everyone has to do the unstable crystal now. Again, you've just made them more. Yeah, you've just made them more expensive.
But if you're learning, to me, it wouldn't be a option that's viable on the market. It would be like you go somewhere, you do something, the crystal becomes infused. Now it's personal only to you, but now the crystal is now breakable.
Well, it's the opposite. Actually, it's the opposite. So new players are gonna want all of the unstable crystals because they have zero risk of dying, and then the veteran players are going to be like, that bro, I'm not losing my Gyrins tier.
Exactly. But like, then if you do want to push like even further beyond, then you can unstable certain ones. You know, I want to unstable my Hooms, so now my Hooms are unstable. I want to unstable my L-cars. All right, so now those are unstable, but now those risk breaking when you do PvP.
Dear Delphi.
Or PvE, excuse me. PvE, not
Dear
PvP.
Delphi, Tiltis would like to increase the amount of support tickets as he feels that your team is lazy and not doing enough work.
Dude, they're already getting so many support
Tiltis
tickets
TV.
for crystals.
Again, Blue Squadron does not have any part of this. I think that I don't know. I think that the unstable thing is a hot take. I don't think that that's the solution. I think there are like
It's
three or
just an
four.
idea of like somewhere that you could make your crystals not break, so you could learn spots and then have something that would then cause them to break. That way, there is still a crystal market that is happening.
How do you feel about adding it to the value pack? Do you think that adding no crystal loss to the value pack is like pay to win, or like what? Okay, well he just fell asleep.
Don't no more anything in the buff. Stop.
Yeah,
Already buy 3 of them. Stop.
Prefer to add more things to the subscription-based items, but actually one of my viewers, HB Bar, was saying had a good idea of what about on the weekends there's just no crystal loss, and so it's like a medium. No,
because some people can't grind on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like then it's not conducive to schedules. It's like the hard sharp drop rate event thing that used to go on.
Well, I thought it was a good idea, HB Bar.
Well, I mean, it's HB Bar. We'll sit down. I think there's a few school of thoughts here. I think everyone could agree that it needs to be changed. It cannot stay at its current thing, and they're just gonna keep making harder grind spots and wonder why no one is grinding there, because no one wants to risk a 10 billion silver on a death. You know what I mean? Because they're like talking
Tremble
to chat.
had a really good idea too. He said,
here we go.
what if there's durability on it? And so if you die, you lose some durability, but you can repair it with the same crystal or something like that. So they don't technically break, but there's a way to restore them.
So here's the solution. Yeah. So you want to add durability, right? So that you don't lose the crystal, and then have to replace it by buying a new crystal. So the solution is that you have to buy more crystals to repair the durability. How is that any different than the system we have now?
Well, it would reduce the amount that we have to replace them by. And so if you're just, not dying very often, you don't have to, repair it as much.
What about like somebody said insurance, and I hate the word insurance because insurance is just a scam. Inevitably, every single time you pay them every month, and then the second that you actually need their help, they have like literally mental gymnastics their way to the idea that they don't actually owe you any money at all. So I hate the idea of an insurance crystal system. However, there's a few things you could do here. What if you had like a brand stone? You could buy one brand stone a week via loyalties for like, I don't know, 5 or like 3,000, 2,000 loyalties,
branding.
whatever. And you could brand your crystal, or you can buy them from the Pearl Shop. Of course, they would have to be a Pearl Shop item too. Obviously, make it available to free-to-play players as well, where you have like one available a week, and you can just keep branding one crystal a week until you have all your crystals branded.
So it lasts 1 week to protect that crystal. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like essentially. Well, maybe not. Like I don't know. But you can only brand like 3 or 4 crystals. Like maximum.
You limited.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so you're limited on it. Like, so you can brand crystals is one suggestion I've heard. I've also heard the suggestion that if you lose crystal, you could go to a vendor and replace that crystal for like 400 mil, 500 mil, just raw silver.
That's not a bad idea. It does kill the silver or crystal market eventually, but.
It does, yeah. I think that inevitably, but see, here's the thing: the crystal market. This whole argument that like, oh, the crystal market will die, is just invalid, because like they can just make something new and be like, it requires you to combine all these fucking crystals, right? Then just boom, there's the crystal market's fine again. Like, you can now melt down wands to get 50 BMC, which like magical shards. Okay, well, they're now wands have just sold out on the marketplace, right? Like, there's a million different things that they could do to like the idea that like, oh, it's just gonna kill the crystal market, so we shouldn't do it, is stupid.
I think another big thing that keeps the crystal market alive is just there's new players always coming into the game, especially now, and so they need crystals. So I think that's just gonna, as long as there's new players coming into the game, that will keep the crystal market alive, I think.
Yeah, and I think we prevent that by increasing the silver for crown stones. Chop chop. Let's get that going. You know what I mean? We can prevent that new player problem altogether. All right. I just wanted to have that discussion on crystal loss. I'm actually let's move on to one of our next topics here, which is hidden aspects of Black Desert Online. So like with the announcement of like the crowd control icons, the developers are kind of opening this this introduction to new systems that allow for more information to be available in the game. BDO still has a lot of systems and information that we know exist, but they have hidden on purpose. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on like the hidden information that they constantly tell us is for our own benefit. Why don't we go with Tiltus first on this one?
I want all of it. I want all of it available. Give me all the information. I'm a type of player that likes min-maxing stuff, and I like to see like immediate results of different strategies and things that, you know, I've created for certain things. And when there's hidden stats, you can sit there and speculate. Oh, well, is this actually better? Is it actually not better? When Darkness Crystals came out, I was very huge into, I was like, these have got to be, on paper, these have got to be better. There's no way that Corrupteds can possibly be better. So I went and did some very basic testing for 30 minutes or something like that. And I was like, yeah, these are actually clearly much better. Did the math out on them and everything. But it would be nice if I could just see a damage number pop up and just be like, oh, yep, that's doing more damage when I hit back attacks, you know.
But
like
Tiltus, that would allow you to be an educated consumer. And
exactly,
we can't have that.
I want all of the information though. I like the information like showing up when I do things. So I'm very much a person of like, give me, unlock all the systems, let me see it all. I want to see it all.
Forgive him, Jay. He knows not what he asks. I feel like
I do know what I ask.
I feel like if they did something like that, there would be riots in the streets.
Oh, absolutely.
I would be right there helping them brandish. Did you get the new Pitchfork 2000? You know what I mean? I'm sitting there on Awakening Witch, like, why the fuck is my third level skill doing more than my absolute? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? Like, it would be madness in the streets. Like, I think they should give us the numbers, but like I know why they don't. For the same reason that the United States government won't tell us what's in Area 51. They could tell us, but it won't do any good. You know what I mean? They could tell us it ain't gonna do us any good. What the public doesn't know can't hurt the public. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think the damage numbers absolutely should be added. Memes aside, I think the damage numbers should absolutely be added to the game, and we would see stronger balance. Yeah, there's going to be this fluctuation period where we're like, this is fucking broken too? How long has this been like this? You know what I mean?
That would be the best part of adding damage numbers, is going back to really old skills.
So many people that came back to play the game.
Why does this do like 50 damage?
Big and shiny shoots. I can see it now. Shoots straight to the top of the category. I knew it. Like after all this he's got all the spreadsheets out. You know, it's like oh my god, he's got 4 different computers with like 80 different spreadsheets open. But like honestly, their argument in the past for hiding damage numbers has been, well, we don't want people to be gated from joining a guild because they're not doing enough damage, right? Or they don't want to add more to our kill death screen at the end of Node Wars. Do you know how at the end of Node Wars you have like mount kills, like the amount of cannon or siege weapon kills you have, your kills, and then your deaths, and like that is it. Right? And people have been asking to add assists, support stuff, healing done, all that kind of stuff forever. Amount of damage done, whatever. And the developer's excuse is one of the most feeble I've ever heard. Is, well, we don't want people to be excluded from guilds because they're not doing enough damage. And I was like,
but we already know that information.
But right now the alternative is they're being excluded from the guild because they don't have enough kills.
Yep, exactly.
You know, like that's like just way worse, right? Like at least if I could see the damage, I'm like, all right, that Sage actually put out more damage than the top fragger. He just didn't get all the kills, right? Like, meanwhile, the archer's like, oh my god, I'm last shotting so many people with that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so
and
good.
They can't track it, right? Because you know, on AOS they track all that stuff, right? So
right.
And the other thing is like give us debuffs too. Like if somebody is like 10 and 20 in a Node War, but has like 150 debuffs, I don't care. I don't care that person went negative 0.5. You know what I mean? Like that guy knocked down 150 people. That's all I care about at that point. Yeah, it would just be so much. It would be so much better across the board. And the thing is like, sure, if you get into the really like toxic side of PvP, there are going to be like, okay, well, you're now removed from the guild because your numbers are not up to par. But the flip side of that is like,
I love how you just reinforce like everything that they said.
yeah,
like damn it, Tiltis.
absolutely at the upper end that's gonna happen. But Blue, like in your guild and in my guild and in a lot of other guilds that hover around like our like strength, we're gonna take those players and be like, okay, let's find you somebody that actually can explain to you what to do during Node Wars, so that you can start learning what it is that you need to be doing.
So you can improving, yeah.
Yeah, so that you can help play.
The solution is, yeah, we're gonna kick you from our guild. You should go to Blue's guild because he will actually teach you.
I said both of our guilds.
No, you can't give them to me. I'm sending them all. I'm sending them straight. You think I won't? Like, look at you.
I said both of our guilds, but it allows veteran players to look at new players that have just come into BDO and be like, oh, you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. If you have big damage numbers but you don't have any kills, okay, well then we just need to figure out how to get you on a kill confirm spree, right? We need to figure out what skills you need to be doing, where you should be positioned, so that you can just finish the kills off. Vice versa, if you have a bunch of kills but you have no damage, all right, well then you're sitting in the back and you're not doing anything, and you're waiting until the last minute to go in and knock, get a whole bunch of 1,000 HP kills real quick. So
I think yeah, I mean, like, it would definitely help you improve players, and it would help you hone in on what players are doing poorly, what players are doing right. Like staffs would suddenly seem like they're like even more relevant than they were before. Shies look way more relevant, and things like this. And I think we can all agree that this is a change that, like, we want this. I've never found a player in PvP that's like, no, I want to see less stats.
Yep.
Like, we would let more people. It's actually the opposite of what they're thinking. Like, we would let more people into our guilds if we could see what they were doing, right? It's like, oh, well, that staff didn't get a lot. He's like below me on the kill feed, but like, look how many people he buffed, right? Like, look how many people that he was healing, right? Like, that guy's an excellent support player. You know what I mean? We take that person. You would see many more people be included in PvP just because. Oh, okay, now you can see more stuff, right? Like it's like, oh, go ahead, Jay.
Speaking of buffs, one thing I would really love to see, specifically for just party grinding in general, the most annoying thing as playing a shy or playing with a shy is sometimes, I'm sure shy listeners will know the DPS will be like, oh, I missed the speed buff. I framed the speed buff. So I would love it if you could just see, like, if you buffed the person, like see on the party UI, if you can see that you shy buffed them. So you don't have to like yell at them or tell them, hey, I missed a buff here or I missed a buff there. I think if BDO is heading more towards a cooperative PvE experience, and I think it is based on what's coming right now. I think that would be really useful to know if you were able to PA somebody, if you were able to speed spell somebody, if you're able to shy buff somebody, all that other good stuff. I think that would be nice to know in the party UI.
Yeah, I agree. If you could at least see what buffs you're putting out on your party members on their party screen, that would be really helpful. Yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, like, there's an argument going on. One of our listeners says that, well, some people don't want to see that. Well, then you can toggle it off.
Yeah.
Right? But at least have it as an option that some of us actually want to see the damage numbers. Right? After you're testing, maybe you don't want to see it all the time. I get that. But, like, you do want to be able to see it sometimes. Like, when I Voltaic, I want to be able to see that it is indeed doing a third of the damage that the Mystic just hit me with, in one skill. Like, I want to be able to see that stuff. And I think that being able to see that stuff is a big part of what, honestly, would make people feel like they're contributing to large-scale PvP. Because right now, like, a new player joins and they're like, I want 1 in 24. And I'm like, yeah, you just suck, dude. Like, you need to submit a VOD, man, because there's something wrong. Are you using your keyboard? Like, yeah, I don't know, the trackpad's working fine, Blue. But, like, I would be able to, like, help players more. And plus I'd be able to say, well, the copium is, you got a lot of heals off. You buffed people a bunch, right? Your debuffs. Now, I do feel like their healing done is very deceptive, right? You're going to have Draconians at the top of the healing bar because their healing done is just ridiculous. But, like, I feel like it should be healing other people, not yourself. Like, the self-healing stuff needs to be removed because otherwise then you have no idea. Like, healing done is essentially useless. If you include self-healing. But like, yeah, any stats like that, assists especially. If I'm being honest, assists particularly need to be added so that you can tell that people are actually involved in the node war. If somebody's like 75 and 20 and they top fragged, I don't give a shit if the guy next to him had 300 assists but only got 30 kills. Like, oh, okay, well that guy contributed way more. It's just a way better system. Right, it helps
structure
us include more
damage
people.
would be pretty good too, Ryan, to see the numbers on the
I would have a heyday with structure damage.
Jay, they can't add that. I'm so sorry. First
Bam.
time they're like sharpening all their swords outside of PA headquarters. They're like, come on out, CMs, we're ready. Like, Jay wouldn't be able to leave his office for weeks. Like, there's no way.
Not only that, but just like I'd be able to see exactly who's not getting on structure when I tell them to get on structure. I'd be like, what's this 1,000 structure damage you did for a 2-hour war here? What's going on there? You want to explain yourself?
Yeah, no, I just don't see it. I just don't see it being a thing. What other, like, so as far as the CC things that they're adding to the game, we talked about it on a previous podcast. I think it's a good thing. I think we assessed overall that it's just generally a good thing. Are there any other systems that are like still hidden today? Like, keep in mind that back in the day, we couldn't see enhancement rates. We had no idea. We were like blind kids playing football, trying to enhance and actually hit something. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous.
The hidden AP and DR and evasion and accuracy. Oh God!
We could only see the exact sheet stat on your item. You could not see any of the hidden stats at all, like the hidden DR, hidden evasion, hidden AP, hidden monster damage. All of that was not visible.
I don't know if this is possible, but I was always wanting to know how many of a monster that I killed specifically. So if I press the H button to go to the knowledge tree, like maybe I want to know how many Olin's golems I've killed or how many Olin's golems arms I've killed. That would be nice to know, just for fun, you know.
Blue would love to know. Blue would love to know how many Eltons he had killed.
No, I don't want to know that. You misunderstand. You completely. No, I do not want to know how many Eltons I killed. This never put out for me. It was the Bolton that eventually put out for me.
The Bolton, you got the Bolton piece.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I never even got it from an Elton. They farmed me for 4 years. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like are there any systems still in the game that we still cannot see this stuff that you guys would actually like? Deltas?
This is like really.
Jay, you've got it. He's still talking. He's talking.
I had another thought. Just like something minor on the, the my stats menu. I'd like to know how much special attack I've had, like how much total back attack percentage I have, how much total air attack or down attack or crit damage. Maybe something like total combat XP buffs or total life skill buffs XP, how total mount XP, something like that. Just some minor stuff. So that'd be nice to know.
There was something that popped in my brain and now it's gone. It might come back to me later.
Yeah, again, my suggestion is, again, like if you just added stats to learn, I'm biased, obviously I want the large scale PvP stats, but I just think it would be so healthy for new players to figure out what they're doing wrong, to help people positionally figure out, like, okay, well, like without having to watch their entire VOD and forcing them to record, which is currently what I have to do. And what we do as a guild, I constantly am reviewing guild VODs to try to show people how to get better. Like, we could just look at their stats and be like, okay, well, clearly you're not doing enough of this, so here's what you need to do. Right? Like, I really do think those systems need to be revealed. Damage numbers overall, I think we assess, yes, we want damage numbers. Like, big, like, I think
that's the consensus across all of BDO. I think it's just like, give us damage numbers.
It's on Global Labs.
I know it exists in Global Labs, but just put it on live and make it toggleable. I don't know why it's not. Just do it. It seems like such low-hanging fruit that would make everybody happy. I know it's like one of Asmongold's biggest complaints was like he couldn't see damage numbers. Like, well, yeah, we want to see damage numbers.
Yeah, it makes my dick hard, man. Like, I want to see how number bigger good. Like, 100,000.
And you get to see, like, as a new player, you can just learn what skills do more damage, right?
Yes.
Like if I'm a DK and I'm using Unveiled Dagger and I'm doing a whopping 100 damage, but then I use Wheel of Fortune and I do 1,000 damage, I'm like, oh, well, clearly one is better than the other one. But like poor Asmongold was spamming the same skill on a mob over and over and over again. I'm like, this guy has no idea that he has way better abilities in his kit because he doesn't want to sit down and do the math on the skill. That's
in fairness,
567 times 4, like on first 2 hits, and then the third hit is 600 times 3 or whatever.
In fairness, Asmon was the guy that's complaining about. He's like, you know what? I hate this action combat system. I just want to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over and over again. And be done with
that
it.
From World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah, I get that. Like we're all boomers, I get it. But like also the guy that chose warrior. So like of course he's spamming the same skill over and over again. Dude. Yeah. You're like, well, what? He doesn't know that other skills in his kit. Oh no, he knows. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but I think it would be good because like you could just learn at watching as you grind through Balanos. Okay, this skill does this much damage. This is clearly a stronger skill. It goes on a long cooldown, like that kind of stuff. Like then you can start playing around as you're learning the game. What skill combos I should be using on mobs and bosses and stuff like that. And right now it's just like, all right, just spam buttons until I get to the until I hit level 60 and then open up my skill menu and go, okay, let's do the math on all these skills real quick. And then you also have to take into account that you have AP, accuracy, evasion, DR, like all these other factors that go into it. It's like, all right, well, even if this number says that I should do 24,000 damage to this monster, realistically, I'm doing like 2,000 damage to the monster because of all the modifiers that go into it or whatever. So it would just be interesting to see. It would make the game, it would make rotations and learning for new players so much simpler, I think.
I think it would actually pull a lot of people to the game. If I'm being honest, because it would pull a lot of the old players that hadn't played in forever back just to try to either confirm their suspicions or test things. Some people, all they want to do is just sit in the battle arena and test damage all day. Yep. You know, that's what they do. And like I think you should just let those players have that. Like at this point, hiding this stuff is kind of a joke. I know that their policy is that the adventure never stops, but like you can make that in other aspects of the game. Part of this whole the adventure never stops thing is we're not going to tell you anything, and you just have to figure it out. And in fairness, at the start of the game, that was actually kind of fun. Right? It was all dark and mysterious, and no one knew what was going on except for the 13,000 Koreans that had already played it for 2 years. But like I don't know, at this point, just the numbers for sure. Like, we're already adding the CC stuff, add numbers, add stuff to large scale PvP, add numbers to PvE. I think it would help people enjoy the game more because watching their number go up is kind of super satisfying. It's not kind of satisfying, it's super satisfying.
I mean, I was just telling Blue earlier before the podcast that humans are visual creatures. And so when you see these things right in front of you, it stimulates your brain somewhat. And maybe, that's usually a good thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tilsis, did you remember that thing you wanted to you have added?
No.
Hi, I'm Dory.
It's like, no, I don't. I went on a tangent about numbers.
All right, yeah. Okay, so boys and girls, we are wrapping up the podcast. We're gonna for the next foreseeable future, we're going to be trying to keep the podcast down towards 1 hour now. I know previously we had it at 2 hours.
Our budget was cut.
Yeah, we had it at 2 hours, but yeah, the budget was cut down to about approximately an hour, mainly because it's my fault. You just entirely blame me. I just don't have like the time. The problem is I have to do the podcast, and then I have to do the patch note rundown right after the podcast, and then I have to get both of those videos up. So I have to download them, edit them down, make the thumbnails, get the videos up, get it up on Spotify before I go to bed. And like I have school I have to teach in the morning. And then cross country the next after that. So like I'm just running out of time in the day. So this will help me make sure that I get the podcast up faster, that I get the patch note rundown up faster. So for now, we're going to try to keep it to a little bit closer to an hour on the podcast every week, but rest assured it will still be here. We absolutely love hanging out every week. Let's go ahead and do our outro. Jay, why don't you go first this week?
Oh, again? Okay. Hi, I am Jay Kuhn and a VT, and I do a lot of endgame PvE content, such as Olins, the dungeons, boss splits, and soon Ulukita. You can find me over at twitch.tv/JKuhnVTV before the T.
That's right. Okay, that was
Yes.
actually pretty clean after you tripped and fell to start there. You got up and brushed it off.
Well, you can't learn how to get up if you don't fall down first, you know. So,
Actually, so proud of
in
you.
this case, I'm
right
always
now.
falling down.
Yeah, because you like laying on your back in the bedroom. Tiltus?
Hey, I'm Tiltus TV. I play BDO for fun, and so if you want to watch me do like random things that I actually enjoy in the game, not just grinding in circles, you can come watch. Jay likes doing Olins. I like doing everything but grinding. So yeah, you can come hang out with me. We do Dark Souls. You know, as soon as Baldur's Gate releases its grip on my soul. So. Dude, so good.
I mean, like, are you even playing BDO right now? Like, what's...
Yeah, I'm AFK fishing.
Like, this counts. This
Yeah,
counts.
it does. Yeah,
it definitely
preventing burnout.
counts. Yeah,
Good job.
True,
Yeah.
true.
I'm AFK fishing and playing Baldur's Gate.
Yep. And of course, I'm Blue Squadron. There's always content going on this channel, and we release new YouTube videos every single day. We stream 4 days a week. We also have a full-time job, so it's kind of a chore, but we're staying on top of it. So make sure you guys join the YouTube. Make sure you guys jump in on the Discord so that you guys know when I'm going to be going live and when my events and videos are in fact launching. From all of us here at the Old Moon Podcast, we will see you next week. Make sure you check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.